All right, with this said, we're right on time and we could actually make a start. So I suggest I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And I think we'll have the speaker view from Divya probably. And we have already nearly all participants. We have a nice group of people. And I can hand over to you, Alexandra.
Okay, so Divya is going to share the screen of the event.
So Divya is, we're live streaming from Divya's computer now on Facebook.
Okay, all right. Okay, so welcome everybody to our program, Inseparable, on our relationship with the ocean and nature. Our event today is Meet the Artist with Esteban Richard. It's a pleasure to see you all online, and thank you so much for joining, Esteban. My name is Alexandra Tanguy. My name is Alexandra Tanguy. I'm a member of Ocean Now, and I'm hosting this event together with Divya today. Before we start, just a quick technical insight. Please let your microphone on mute so that there's no noise in the conversation. And we will unmute you later when it comes to the Q&A sessions so that you can ask your question. Thank you. Our agenda today is the following. I'm making a quick introduction from my side on Esteban, just a few minutes. Afterwards, Esteban will present his work for about 20 minutes, and we will have a Q&A session for about 15 minutes. So thank you so much again, Esteban, for joining. It's a great pleasure to have you on board. How are you?
I'm fine, a little bit stressed, but it's okay. Everything is okay.
It will be great. Before you start to present your work, just a quick introduction on you. You are from Belle-Île-en-Mer, which is an island in Brittany, and now you live in Brest. Your work is centered on ocean, and you present yourself as an artist, as a visual artist, designer, and scientific mediator in marine biology and ecology. Most of your art aims at raising the awareness of humans and their impact on nature, and particularly on the ocean. At Ocean Now, we are very excited to discover and understand more about your approach and work. And with this said, I'm handing over the microphone to you, Esteban.
Yeah. It's okay, I can share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. So, yep. It's okay for everybody? Okay, perfect. So just before to start, I would like to say thank you to Meiki and Alexandra and all the team of Ocean Now, because it was complicated with the situation, and we worked very hard to keep possible this event. So thank you so much. I'm very glad to be part of this event. So well, I'm going to start. So my name is Esteban, and I'm French. I'm 13, and I'm living, work in Brittany in France. So in 2014, I'm graduated in object design from an art school in Brest, and now I'm a designer, an artist, a visual artist, and I'm also involved in an associative gallery specialized in screen printing called Kuj. And since 2 years, I have working as well as a scientific mediator in biology and marine ecology at Oceanopolis in Brest. It's a very big center of cultural oceanographic center in France. So in the past 2 years, I've been very lucky to join some expeditions such as ATCA, sailing expedition in Arctic, and most recently a great expedition called Sailing Yonder. But I will talk about this expedition a little more later on. So, as you say, Alexandra, I try to project my practice on educational to art research in marine biology and ecology in order to make the public aware with the various environmental issues which impact the marine's environment. And I try to show that an artistic practice carried out with in parallel with a scientific approach could be became a very good mediation between art and science. So just it's very quickly for my presentation because we have not many time. But this first project I would like to share with you tonight is okay. I can see it. I don't. I can't move my PDF.
Okay. Can you? Does
I'm
it
gonna
work?
stop the sharing and up.
Yeah.
And
So it depends on the when you share it. Sometimes it depends on whether you share the document or the desktop. I think it asks you when you say share. We can try.
okay.
I mean,
I'm gonna try again.
it's we can try both. I mean, one of the
Okay.
two this works. Yeah.
So I share presentation. This is okay. Like that. Okay, it's okay for now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just before to talk about my practice, I would like to share my first project because called Geograd, because I I'm, I grew up in part in Little Island in south of Brittany, and I think that territory became true cultural and family heritage. And I think the most important for me was the connection with the ocean. So when I started my studies in art school, I wanted to use this part of me to imagine work, um, which could be a mean for me to share my passion for the ocean, but also my vision of the insularity. So my first reflection was how the insularity became source um, for an artistic production, and Geograd illustrate this reflection. So this is a series of objects in blown glass um, that I imagine this work as a pretext for an experiment. I wanted to to this project was a way for me to apprehend an island directly like a research laboratory. So it was important also for me to share this project with other person who had never who had never lived on an island, who had never knew daily life on an island. So I share this project with four other person and to keep some kind coherence or objectivity with my practice. So this project we went to Pellermer. So Pellermer is the island where I come from, and we spent 1 or 2 weeks. I don't remember. And at first, uh, I would like to. We have passed an observation time, then come an apprehension of the land, and we wanted to the island to illustrate the different changing that undergoes the specific coastline, and it would become the walker away for the various impact of the natural phenomena that undergoes the island every day. So this project evolving over time. I can that is that evolving over time. This object to watch or to play with would become witness and marks for the landscape. So quickly, the first project. So after my studies, my reflection about the insularity involved. And all my researches about insularity driving me to ask me about the ocean, and more precisely about all the ecological problems which affect it. And it was important also to question myself on one question, because often when a speech is given regarding climate changing or protecting ocean, we have in mean scientists, politicians, NGO, etc. But in fact, it's very rare to ask an artist her or his opinion about it. But I think an artist with a scientific could be matched together to raise awareness about the environmental issue together. So since 3 years, I have met and worked with professionals in the marine sector, like in sailing, science, sport, fishing, etc. And the first project I wanted to illustrate in my practice was the marine plastic pollution, like my project totem. So first, it was important for me to work from the plastic collected on seashore, but my first aim was to undertake a non-moralistic work of awareness. Those educational issues started with the collect of plastic, and then continue through the process and the diffusion of the work. And to make it work possible, I think it was important to keep some kind scientific rigor and a coherence with the problematic addressed. So I surrounded myself with professionals like Surfrider Foundation and a laboratory in marine biology. So together we created a route along the coastline of Brittany with several collection points. So several collection plastics were organized and there and enable us to start mapping ways to connect my project with local reality. So my goal was to expose the plastic waste geographically and quantitatively, and the image of the graphic or the histogram or even the Bacchus naturally appears in my mind. So I create those 3 totems, each one corresponding to one plastic pile collected for one specific location. So after having shredded and melted the plastic, became a new object, a buoy. I don't know if my pronunciation is good, but not a boy, but a buoy. And like this in the pictures. And more plastic I had, more buoy I could made. So finally, the totem are located in the same area where the plastic has been collected, and a caption is attached is to one of them to tell us where and when the plastic have been collected, the quantity and the time of collection. So you can see the pictures. This is a totem in Brest. So today, my work and my reflection are focused on education and marine world. So I think it is in this context I have been very lucky to meet and join ATCA crew sailing expedition in Arctic. And ATCA is always the name that François Bernard gave to his sailboat. And the mission of the crew is to share, to study, and to explore the Arctic world. So, and the goal of this expedition is to raising awareness through different teaching support and cross-media to sharing the beauty, but also the fragility of the Arctic. And by using a multidisciplinary approach, bringing together art, science, sport, and teaching. So I speak quickly about this expedition, but if you want to learn more about this, you can go on its website or Facebook, etc. And you can also watch the movie Capitaine de l'Utopie. It's about the first expedition. And this is a very fantastic project with a very nice crew. So Bali's, during the presence and the existence of the micro and the macroplastic in Arctic is one of the issues addressed during the last expedition, and it's in this context that I was boarded at CAT to realize Bali's. And in fact, Bali's is the continuity of my project Totem, but the process of the creation was almost the same that I use in Brittany. But sometimes some improvement on my tool have been made, because with an engineer friend, we have created a new shredding machine with the open source plane of precious plastic. And I was able to use in Arctic. I didn't say, but I went in Okratsut. Okratsut, it's a village in the north of Greenland, and I spent 2 months there with Atka. It was very, very incredible. And after I've been collected, and after the collection of the plastic in the fjord of Rod Bay, it's once again started shredding into tiny pieces and emitted. Then I was able to create a certain amount of boy to realize my bellies. So you can see on these pictures, one of my favorite, because they are exactly the same color that you can see in Greenland. So finally, the bellies is still standing near to the Atka cabin. You can see 2 pictures, one in winter in 2019 and the winter in 2019. So this is it's very important for me. And when we go back in France, we are working through an educational program called Atka Polar School, with a school in Brittany. It was a little bit particular because the school have a marine educative and protected area, so it was very important for me for Atka to work with there. So we did presentation in class, and we talk about the plastic pollution, but also we talk about the expedition and why in Arctic, why are the consequences on the biodiversity in general, but to talk about what are the solutions, because I think it's very important to talk about the good things too, and to show that it's not too late to do something. So yeah, and my aim with this education program was also to show that an artistic to question an artistic practice through an scientific approach, and to show to this future generation that art could be a way to raise awareness, and could become a mediation between art and science. So after we have created a new ballet with all the kids of the school, and we have collected plastic on their area. And after when we are finished, these bellies have been matching with the Arctic bellies, and that I think is very important for the kid and for me, of course. But it was very, very, very great. So bathymetry, I would like to share this project too, because it's a little bit different, but it's also important for me, because the drawing have always been present in my work, and it is to me a way to extract some images, some shape, but also some thought that sometimes fall under the obsession. And this series of drawing is a bathymetry imaginary. Sometimes we are a superposition of strata, sometimes realized with ink, like these pictures, and sometimes with color pencil. Yeah, I didn't say it, but a bathymetry is a schematic map of seabed of a particular place, and this work directly refer to this oceanographic cartography that I love. But here I wanted to reappropriate this graphic representation to switch the code, because our appears here almost abstract and imaginary, because there's not true bathymetries, in fact. So, okay. So the plastic glomerate. The plastic glomerate is one of my last research or focus on a recently discovery, the plastic glomerate. The plastic glomerate is a term proposed by the Dr. Patricia Corcoran to characterize a new stone discovered near to Hawaii. Maybe someone have already heard or know about it, but the plastic glomerula is formed under the sea on seabed, where the natural sedimentary grains and organic debris are aggregated, but this time with melted plastic, and they are created with the underwater volcanic activities. And I think it's a very important to know that, because the plastic glomerate have been considered as a potential marker of the Anthropocene, and a marker for the society toward all plastic societies. And this is the first stage of my project, but I wanted to illustrate that. And today, without knowing it, we are living a real transformation, a mutation of a cycle of underwater geological formation. And so the idea of the plastic glomerula as a marker given to me the image of the ice core or the stone core. And maybe one day it will be possible to study and to find this stone core like this one, sometimes with natural debris, but sometimes with plastic. And I think the future and exactly like today, the next future of scientific will be able to know when and where we are started to throw away the plastic in the ocean, and we decide to stop that. So this work reflect this reflection. And I have almost finished. So the next stage today, I'm still busy with my project and my work as an artist and as a scientific mediator, but I keep meeting kids in school during exhibition and artistic residencies. But my next project um, will be with sailing on the, and I prepare some notes because I don't want to forget something about this expedition, because I think it's a very important and amazing project, because sailing on the want to share with us that even in Europe you can see the ecological crisis that impact the marine life. So the goal of this expedition is to highlight the story behind the ecological crisis with an emphasis on the internal connectivity between human and the ocean through a series of interviews in the Northeast Atlantic, and then to narrate discussed undergoing changes to record tales of people who living there and act every day along our water. So during this expedition, me and a journalist friend are going to work on the problematic of overfishing. And we would like to realize a project between art and journalists to propose a new way for a scientific mediation program. And we are very interested in creating an acoustic documentary between reality and fiction. So, like like Atka, if you have any question or if you want learn more about this expedition, I invited you to go on its website. I have put the link on this page of Atka and Sailing on the. We can ask any question. They are a very nice crew. So, so I think I have finished. But yeah, I'm finished. That's all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your attention. It was very cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esteban, for your presentation. Thank you. So I don't know if Divya, you received any question. I guess people can ask their question now, just with unmuting their microphones. So
yeah. So I do have one question from Antia, which she would like me to say, and that is, first of all, congrats to your work and to the fact that you grew up and live in Brittany. It's a beautiful place, and I'll always keep it in my heart since I visited it at a young age. How long does it take you from developing an idea until realizing the project?
About what project? I didn't hear.
I think that is not specific. So
okay.
in general, I guess.
I think it's just a general question. And if you were to dedicate the meaning of the ocean to yourself as a poem or a letter, what words would be in it?
Ok, alors là, Alexandra, peut-être falloir que tu m'aides un petit peu.
Yeah, I also had difficulty to understand. Can you repeat, please, Divya?
Sorry, okay. So her first question is...
the first question is, how long does one project take from the idea to the end of the realization,
in general,
right?
Yeah, in general, it's depend. Often I make many research before to start a project, because as I say, I think it's important to keep some kind of scientific rigor, and I want to realize an artistic project between art and science. So I passed many times in my research, and after it depends. For example, the project with Atka Bali's, I spent 2 months there, but for the project Totem, I spent 4 months for just to realize the boy but in fact, so for example, the project plastic agglomerate, maybe it's maybe the second years I work on, you know.
So it's been 2 years that you work on it.
Yeah, because it's important to keep a true in this project, and as it's a very young discovery, I need to keep the information, and sometimes it's very sharp, like the drawing or like the painting. That's like when I want to explore scientific mediation, I need to be patient. So.
Okay. And if you were to dedicate the meaning of the ocean, if you had to write a poem about it or a letter, what would be your keywords or your inspiration?
Alexandra?
Yes.
Sorry.
No problem.
No
problem. Before we repeat the question, just for everyone, if you have a question, you can also use on the upper right corner. There's 3 points and more. You can click there and raise your hand, and then you can unmute yourself so that we also know the following of the people asking the question, so we will not be lost. So the question was, sorry, I was making some technical stuff.
Okay, so and the second question is, if you had to use, let's simplify the question, if you had to use 3 or 4 words to describe the ocean for you, what would those 3 or 4 words be?
3 words only, it will be very, very complicated.
Yeah, like the
or a concept maybe, or
for me, the ocean is l'ouverture, comment tu dirais ça, Alexandra? L'ouverture is the open-minded, maybe, I don't know.
Openness, I would say.
Openness, and life, because we don't forget that if the ocean die one day, we all the life die too. So it's the life, it's the openness, and the third, I don't know. It's so complicated to find only 3 words. But
la question était posée dans un contexte un petit peu littéraire ou poétique. La question, c'était si tu devais écrire un poème, quels seraient les mots-clés, les 3 ou 4 mots-clés que tu choisirais pour tourner autour. If it helps. But okay.
It's so complicated. But I think I have an idea. We need to find our Marian memories. So maybe this image of the memory of the ocean, maybe.
Okay, and her last question is, how can we support your art in general, and if you can share a link or any websites.
Comment on peut te soutenir?
Sorry, because I did. Ouais.
Comment on peut te soutenir ou soutenir ton art?
We're sharing my projects and sharing my website. Not, in fact, not my website, because it's very ugly, and I need to make another website because. But I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram profile, and we can talk about my practice all around you if you're very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Will do.
Great. All right. And I think Fiona had a question.
Yeah, Sarah also raised her or his hand.
Yeah.
Sarah is
So,
down.
so Fiona had a question, and after that we can go to Sarah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much for this very interesting insight in your work and in your collaboration with scientists. I think it's really great. And I have a question to the totem work, and I think it's a great project to draw the attention to the presence of microplastics. But you show such a beauty of the material in the totems. So that my question is, why did you choose this contrast between pollution and beauty to highlight or to, yeah?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. But I didn't choose I didn't choose that because the first boy I have made any idea of if it will be beauty or not. It's sometimes people ask me what is it the material it's using for this project, and when I say this is plastic collecting on seashore, so what okay, but I think I didn't find the beauty with this project, and it was very for the message, but the plastic is fantastic. So, but I don't know. No, the beauty is not the concept of this project, but I didn't choose that.
Okay, thanks.
It's okay. My answer is good.
Oh yeah, right. No.
Okay. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So Sarah, you can ask your question by unmuting yourself.
Oh, hi. Hello. Very nice talk, Esteban. Thank you. It was very interesting. I have two questions, actually. The first one is, okay, so I don't know if it was on purpose, but you focus on the Arctic Ocean, and then you talked about like one project that you might be able to do in the Northern Sea, but are you planning to maybe do kind of the same project in more tropical areas or this kind of thing? I'm just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but because it's not sure again, but maybe I will go on the third expedition of Atka, and maybe it will be in a tropical place. I don't know, but it's complicated for me to travel because I have many jobs. I'm not only I'm not doing art every day. I have a job, and I need to give to have money to make my project. So yeah, maybe one day in South Africa. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just maybe to compare, for the contrast. I have no idea. And my second question is, so you were talking about collaboration with scientists, but I'm sorry, I might have missed something, but where is exactly the collaboration with scientists?
Is in the collaboration, because where we are organized, collect, there are a process to collect the plastic. You can do everything. You can do make that I want, and you need to keep some kind of process to the plastic to the collect. And after with the project with the plastic laminate, I work with scientist friend in at Oceanopolis. I asked her some question, and when I was in Atka in Greenland, sorry, I work very near with scientists, and we have speak very very often about my project and the goal and why I can say that, but more that, etc., etc. So like that, and the part of science in my project, I think, is also in the diffusion, at the place where I make exhibition in the mediation to develop with my project. So
okay, thank you, Esteban. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
So we have one question from Michael.
Hey, so first of all, I wanted to say, just encourage everyone. We're like 22 people now, and we have 3 people on camera. So if you feel ready to switch on your camera, it would be really nice to see you if you have a camera, because it feels like much more like you're sharing one room. You can actually see people. Thank you. There's someone else. Thank you so much, Esteban. This is like a really impressive work, and it already gave me goosebumps when I saw when you described the Bali's totem project, and there's always the location going with it, and then also the meaning. Bali's also means something, and so I have 2 questions. Okay, I try to keep it short. So maybe first, what's interesting for some people, they might not know what the meaning is of Bali's totem, or the meaning, and there's some story behind it maybe also. Maybe starting with this question first.
I didn't understand the question.
So, alors, balise, c'est quoi une balise pour les gens qui...
Okay. Okay, a balise is a boy, is a marine boy, and
or a beacon.
Okay. And so the other, maybe also related to it, the other question, there was a story also, so you also had to rename Bali's to totem, right? So it's also interesting, I mean, for me to like somehow, of course, totem is also, totem to Bali's, right? Because you also presented it, I think, somewhere in Greenland or so, and people were like also perceiving it, and then you had to be flexible with the story or so. That was also interesting. So the other question I had was around Greenland. So the pictures or anything on the north of the Arctic Circle is just very impressive. So I was wondering what kind of things went through your head when you were there, like the questions, the reflections, or the feeling of being there.
About Arctic, about Greenland?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the dream, because this project, ATCA, I've been very lucky to work with ATCA, and I discovered a country, a culture, and I've discovered many things about me there, and I dream, as I say just before, I dream to go again one day, because it's a little bit complicated to explain my love with the Arctic place, but sometimes people say if you went one time in Greenland or Arctic or Antarctic, you need to go back later. And the Arctic is very particular place, and it's I didn't answer you.
No, I was just wondering about si tu avais des réflexions, des questions tu n'avais pas eu avant, ou des choses comme ça là.
Okay. Yeah, about the plastic in Arctic, because
For instance.
the waste in Greenland is complicated because we didn't. They are not comment tu dirais, des recycleries.
Place where you can recycle it.
Yeah.
Place where you can recycle the plastic.
Yeah, and actually the people who live there put the waste in a particular place in the village, and the waste stay all the day, all the years. But when you arrived for the first time and you see that, you say, oh, what is it? But when you talk with with them, you understand that it's very complicated because the winter is very cold, and we have not many big city, and the village are very far from the city, so it's a little bit impossible to put a route for the recycling waste. So that is the first reflection. So, oh, how could you do? How can you make to recycle to? So that is the first reflection and the first thing to catch my attention when I arrived in Greenland. But it's a little bit surprised because the Greenland is attached to the Denmark, okay, and they are not relation about the recycling between the Denmark and the Greenland. So maybe I don't have all the keys to answer at this question, but I was very surprised. And the other thing that I discovered when I was in Greenland, it's the culture. It's very particular culture, and but today the Greenland, the people who live there lost his culture, and that is very, very sad. So that is the second thing I have discovered. And for a good things, is the sharing, and the beauty of this place is very, very, very incredible. It's very difficult to describe because I need to live that to understand, and it's why I want to go back again.
Merci.
So we have one last question from Megan, but I think it's a follow-up to your question, for Micah's question, that is. Where is the beach or the coastline that inspires you the most? The one you prefer going to be inspired by your art, for your art?
Okay, donc la question c'est... Ouais.
Quelle est la partie de la côte ou la plage, ou de manière plus générale l'endroit de la côte que tu préfères, celle où tu préfères aller et celle qui t'inspire le plus pour ton art?
Okay, it's easier for me. Is the sea, but under the sea. If I could live, if it will be possible to live underwater, for me, it will be very fantastic. So this is the strait that I prefer.
Okay, and that's the last question. Thank you so much for sharing your work. It was beautiful, and
thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
And I'm sorry for my accent and my English, but you are very nice to be with us tonight. I'm very, very happy. Thank you so much, and thank you, Miki, Alexandra, and Fiona.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so if we are done with the question, I will suggest we can stop now because we are like just 5 minutes too late. So it's not that worse. We did it well. Thank you again, Esteban. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for joining. It was a great pleasure to make this event with you all.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.